said, Walk, I don't know how you're going to do that, man. I did a eulogy where my brother and my sister were together. And you see these, my relatives had to leave. That's all right. But anyway, I was thinking as I was sitting there this morning that a man's or woman's child is really as available in his or her mind as right now. As we walk through this, because I really love the 23rd Psalm. As we walk through this, if you got a Bible, turn to it. Because I want to point out some things in there that this beautiful lady and I have shared, worked with, preached about in our goings and comings throughout our lives. Our married life, we were together for 43 years, longer than that, but it was a wonderful life, and she was a wonderful lady. I can remember as I go back, as I visualize the image of looking at this road out here. I used to ride horseback when this road was dirt, up and down this road here. I'm reminding you of that. I used to pick blackberries with Mom Beulah. Mom Beulah was my aunt. She was one of my mothers. She was a couple of years older than my mother. And I can remember being the person that picked up mail for everybody in the family at about 6 to 4. It's not too many of my relatives remember that number, but I do. It reminds me of my wife. We have so many things that we've done together that are so significant to us. But you know, I think about remembering things and remembering my lovely wife. And I want to kind of speak very briefly. Because those that know me know that I don't like one. I want to speak very briefly today about my dear wife. I want you to know that my text is going to be Psalms 23, and my focus is going to be 23:4. I want you to remember those. Because as you drive out of here today, if you take and put the image in your mind's eye, I think you get what I'm about to say. And I'm looking at a subject. I remember Sylvia walking through the valley. Because the Lord knows she and I walked through a lot of it. And she was totally supportive to me in everything we did. And that's why God blessed us to be so successful. She was my right hand, and it was just wonderful, wonderful to be her husband. I want to assume, and most of you that know the 23rd Psalm, attribute that song being written by David. David was a very powerful guy, a very political guy, and he was a king, but he was also a servant of God. He ran into frustrations and joys just like we all have. But we can only speculate as we think about him, the immediate circumstances of that time. If we think about us, the circumstances of our time, not very great right now. My wife had been very ill for some months. She suffered with pain that most of you couldn't imagine. And there were twice that I got healed when the time she was ill. The first time I went down first, and she was right there. Right there. Second time, we went down together. And God only knows why he does what he does. But I want to let you know that as I talk to you, I'm going to be talking about death. But I want you to pay attention to the sources within these words. Walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Think about that word shadow. The fact that David described it as a valley is very significant. And I think we all know what a valley is. It's that little place at the end of the mountain. He also talks about walking through the valley. He never once said you walk in the valley, around the valley, but through the valley. Now, what I want you to remember is that we are all, each and every one of us, and you're sitting right now, we are walking through the valley. We're going to get there, but we're walking through the valley. Just keep that image in your mind. And the last thing I want to talk about is that the valley of the shadow is all about us. It is really all about us. When you get some time, you get home, I want you to sit down with the 23rd Psalm and take a little time to read it. But don't just read it, study it. Because Sylvia and I did that. We did that, and that beautiful, wonderful lady that I miss so dearly was always there. We supported each other as best we could. You know, that in my mind, the image I see, there's really no mystery to me as to why this great song is so embraced at memorial services such as this. Because pay attention, you find that spec on the 23rd Psalm. And I want to see it. And in closing, I want to say this. I did not realize whether I was going to be able to do this today because I've been very ill, but this is for my wife. This is for my wife. I said, if I got here and I fail, I get back up and this young man did. So, in closing, with our love for my lovely wife, my love, my honor for all of you being, thank you, and ask that when you leave the go out and ask. Go out and ask. Collect the things God has blessed you with. Use them. Don't bury them. By His Lord, help us to see death as it really is. Only a shadow. Most of all, help us to trust the shepherd. Experienced and understands all mysteries. In Jesus' name we pray.
Thank you very much.